I wanted to do a video on this subject because it's something that's close to my heart. When you do what I do every day, sticking your head above the parapet really and saying what you think, you do attract certain attention from undesirable quarters. Anything to do with social media or any kind of personality anywhere is open to it, unfortunately, as well as people trying to live private lives. I do, of course, refer to stalking. It is an awful thing carried out by very obsessive, sick-in-the-head individuals who quite often get away with it because they know that the system works in their favour and not that of the victims. And today, I've noticed that might be about to change. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining me. You know, stereotypically, stalking is where you're followed. People hang around outside your place of work. They look up your personal details and they find out where you live. They start looking into your business and private affairs and publishing them online, generally trying to make your life hell. And one of the favourite things is where they make up a load of untruths and unprovable lies about you in an attempt to ruin your life, your reputation. And a lot of people aren't mentally strong enough to deal with this, and they feel heavily let down by the law, heavily let down. It really is awful. I mean, looking at the statistics, and I'll put them on the screen here, I'll read them off to you. The number of stalking offences recorded by the police in the UK in 2024 varies depending on the year-ending period. Year-ending March 2024, 129,076 offences. Year-ending June 2024, 132,912 offences. Now, that is a big problem. If you are a stalker, or if you deliberately set out to make somebody's life hell, you should be convicted and you should be put in prison for a very long time, and you should lose everything around you. Your children, your family, your house, your assets, because quite simply, what have you done to your victim? What have you done to that person that you've made suffer so much? It's awful. An awful lot of young girls and young women, you know, walk the streets at night, walking home, and they get unwanted attention, guys following them. And I think that's what this legislation is aimed at. But stalking very much is prevalent in the online world as well. I've been a victim of it. You know, it's still going on to an extent at the moment. I've had friends of mine that are a victim of it. I'll tell you a couple of stories in just a minute, but I wanted to read this. UK Labour unveils new stalker protection measures. December the 3rd, the UK Labour government announced new measures aimed at enhancing protections for stalking victims. These include the right for victims to know the identity of online stalkers promptly. Now, that's a game changer, because from an online point of view, which I have experience of, a lot of the people that decide that they're going to be obsessed and harass and stalk you and attempt to make your life a misery will do so from a position of anonymity. Now, the people that have decided to attempt this nonsense with me, and by the way, I'm still here, I know who they are, where they are, and what they're about, and it's cost me money, time, and effort to ensure I know all of that. People, other people that have this won't be so lucky. Anyway, increased use of protection orders and reforms in law enforcement's handling of stalking cases. The initiative stems from a broader mission to reduce violence against women and girls over the next decade. That is, you know, the primary thing with this, women and girls. But I hope that from the online point of view, the scope is expanded to cover that as well. A couple of stories. When I first started YouTube, it was it wasn't too long before I started noticing somebody doing videos about me. A Scottish lady, or she appeared to be Scottish. I've never had any communication with her in my life, never communicated with her in any way, shape or form. It was horrible. And I just started YouTube. I just started doing this. And it got to a point I became so enraged. I just wanted to quit, because I thought, why am I putting myself through this? Why am I putting my family through this? Well, of course, eventually making contacts and friends and everything else, I eventually worked out who this person was and the network of individuals they hung around with, and, you know, what they did. And it, of course, broke apart when they realised that they weren't getting their own way. I don't to this day know what the purpose was. Was it just a trouble or what? But, you know, a person operating from a position of anonymity. I mean, I've had recent experience with this as well. There's an individual who I won't name, who decided to jump on a bandwagon and start accusing me of being all sorts of things, even went as far as writing to one of my contacts who's fairly high profile and accusing me of loads of stuff. It was horrific. I, of course, did something about it. I have behind me on the desk here a very big envelope full of evidence, copies of which are left in other places as well. There's must be coming on for 200 screen dumps by now of things that are said. I have taken action about it, and the initial response was not a favourable one. I've therefore had to take further action, which will be something that comes out in due course, I suppose. But these individuals, when they get completely obsessed with somebody, there's a syndrome called Davo or something like that. It's where the perpetrators of a crime try to make out that it's not them, it's the victim, by swapping it all around. It really is a thing to behold. And then, of course, they get their contacts involved, and their contacts have more contacts, and they pile on people. I know at least one other YouTuber that's even had somebody following them with photographic proof of this, which I've seen. I've had another example of another YouTuber that has been under so much pressure from, what they've experienced. They've left YouTube. It's absolutely destructive behaviour. But the basis of it all is this wanted ability to stalk a person to oblivion because they don't fit the bill. They don't hold the same values, whatever it happens to be. And because of the lack of support from the police, because of the lack of support from the law, it carries on, and how many more people fall by the wayside. It really is bad. But when I read things like this, I think it's very encouraging, and I hope and pray that it can be beneficial to everybody, people in the public domain, innocents, everybody, and those that are responsible are held accountable, and held accountable very firmly indeed. Shouldn't get away with it. And in my case, they won't get away with it. But these things take time. Anyway, thank you. Watch these videos. I'll talk to you soon. Toodaloo.